Hey guys, unfortunately I have some bad news for today's video, and it's referring to the 2000 Acura Integra GS-R. And for those that don't know, this car was actually featured on Cars and Bids, and we've had it on the channel, but it's been a while since I've given you guys an update on it, so I'm going to give you guys one right now. This was previously stolen and then recovered at the Van Nuys Copart, and this is actually being restored by my friend. And I'm just here to kind of capture the whole restoration process. And what happened was this car got pulled out because it was actually in a paint booth that is currently being built right now. So what's happening is all the cars from the paint booth needed to be pulled out. And the cool news with this one is that this is going to be the first car that goes through this new paint booth that my friend is currently building. But in the meantime, what happened was this got pulled out, put onto the street, and then unfortunately, just in the very short time that it was exposed to the elements, that somebody got in and started rummaging through the car. Luckily, this car battery is completely toast. So, and I think that's the saving grace that saved this car, and the fact that actually the ignition is in pieces, because this is total project car. Yes, it is, here in one piece, but there is still quite a bit that needs to be done. And on top of that, it looks absolutely filthy. It definitely needs a full detail in some capacity, but I mean, that's the least of our issues here. So it doesn't look like they used any brutal force to get inside. I mean, the key locks seem okay. Like I said, the ignition's kind of in pieces. And in the interim, I'm actually just taking it over here because I'm gonna spend some time on it. I'll probably clean it up. I'm gonna put the battery on a trickle charger just to see if it holds anything, but it's probably very likely that it needs a new battery. I actually got some screws too, to replace the original ones on this ignition to make sure that it doesn't get stolen again and keep it in one piece. Now some ideas have crossed my mind with maybe putting something like a Jordan distributor ghost key. And for those that don't know what I'm referring to, I think I actually have it in the shop and I can show you guys real quick. A push to start solution for these old Hondas. And this is something that I'm actually going to be putting in the Biohazard Civic. I think that this is going to be a really good theft deterrent. Of course, everything's not going to be 100%, but this is something that, is a plug-and-play solution that can really resolve a lot of these issues. But my friend is still kind of coming around to the idea of maybe putting a push to start on this car. In the effort of wanting to keep this as original as possible, this may kind of go off the beaten path with something more aftermarket. But I think it's really coming down to more of a safety concern rather than trying to keep this thing as original as possible. And as you can see, it's in a state where it needs body work and paint, and that's the whole goal with this one. The whole idea with this one is that we're going to take it to the paint booth. It's going to be there for the very first time, and I'll make sure to bring you guys along with the journey with this one. And then once it's all said and done, we'll take it out for a nice drive. We'll get to enjoy it for a little bit. And then I don't know what the next steps are for this car. I really am just kind of hanging on for the ride because, again, this is for my friend that's going to be restoring this one. And even though it's very exciting to have it in my possessions currently, I am also scared that something's going to happen to it, So again, this car is also going to be relocated again. So I'm only going to have it for a day or two, and then it's going to be gone again. And it's going to be in a much safer place until the paint booth is all good. They're currently in the process right now of getting the permits from the city. So that's why everything needed to be taken out to make sure that, it's a place of business, that it's all good. But in the meantime, I thought I'd at least show you guys what they did. I think that they must have picked the lock or something, because I do see some markings on the driver's side keyhole. It's nothing true dramatic, but again, these cars are so easy to steal. I've seen people, even on my Civic, where they get something what it's called like a Slim Jim, and they'll be able to get it over here, because on the Integras especially, the lock and unlock mechanism is just right here. And if I get the key real quick, I could show you what I'm talking about. When you unlock this car and you open the door, and of course the battery's gonna be dead, so it's not gonna do anything right now, but if I just go up like this, this will unlock the doors on both sides. So if you have something, even just a coat hanger with the little hook at the bottom, you just go like this and you'd be able to pull it up and it unlock the doors and gives you full access to everything that's going on in here. And as you know from the last video that we did on this one, we had to replace the catalytic converter because they cut it. Typical thievery that's happening here. And I don't know what they were doing. I mean, they reclined the seats all the way back. They were kind of having their fun with it. Even though they didn't take it, you could just tell that somebody was in here. Fingerprints all over the place. It's just a total mess. They didn't take the extra battery that was in the back for whatever reason. And there's still bags of clothes and stuff. But the most important thing that they took was actually, I think, a Christmas gift for somebody. I think along the lines of a PlayStation 5. So as soon as they saw that, they probably thought they hit the jackpot and didn't really care too much about the car. I'm sure they attempted to try and take this thing. And, you know, I'm really hoping that this is the last time that this car has to go through any form of thievery, because it's just such a shame that such a nice car like this has to go through so many leaps and bounds just to keep it in your possessions. I mean, even for me that owns an EK Civic, sometimes I just go to the grocery store and I feel a little uneasy. I go and visit friends, I go run an errand. The very simple day-to-day stuff feels a little bit more cumbersome when you're thinking about who's gonna steal my car today. That's just kind of the reality nowadays too. You know, it's not getting any better. More cars are getting stolen. If we're talking about more modern counterparts, you know, past something like of this vintage, you know, the Challengers, the Chargers of this era are becoming the real hot ticket items. The Kias and the Hyundais having huge recalls because of all this stuff that's currently happening. And it's just such a shame that we have to deal with stuff like this. And on top of that, I see this stuff all the time at the auctions. You guys know that I've seen everything underneath the sun when it comes to these auction cars, and I see it all the time with these old Hondas, and they can be like a skeleton. All the parts are gone because the parts are worth more than the car itself. And especially with the GSR, the B18C, you know, this is like one of the most coveted VTEC engines that you can get. This is the one you want, the 1.8 dual overhead cam VTEC unit. They're very interchangeable, these Hondas. You can take the engine from this Integra and you can go put it in the Civic, no problem. But in this case, it's just kind of a mess, you know? So this was just kind of a quick update for you guys. I wish that I had more content to provide you guys with the Integra. If you guys would be interested in maybe seeing this thing get a full detail before the bodywork begins, maybe you guys can let me know down in the comments. But I'm gonna clean this thing up. I don't wanna hold on to it too long and then it's gonna go to its new location where it's gonna be much safer. I'm not gonna have to worry about it. But in the meantime, while it's here, I do really enjoy this car. And it's a shame that it's not being driven right now because this engine is a 10 out of 10. It's just magnificently smooth, especially with the new catalytic converter. Again, the whole idea with this car is just to kind of fully restore it back to its stock origins and bring it back after it was stolen and abused. Because this, if you go look at the listing on this car previously on Cars and Bids, it's utterly shocking the difference this car in terms of the way it looked. You know, it's got dings and dents all over in the back end and stuff, but really on the side panels, it's not bad. You know, there's dents here, it needs to be pulled out. The hood is a disaster trying to close it, but you know, you got to make do with what we got. I think it's going to come out really nice. I'm really excited for the paint booth. I think this will be more opportunities for other car restorations that, you know, we could see on the channel. If that's something of interest to you guys. I'm not a huge car painter. You know, I've done my DIY rattle can jobs in the past, but it'll be nice to see something with some professional equipment, even if it's not gonna be me that's using it. If you guys wanna see more with the Integra, let me know. I'll try my best here while I have it in my possessions just to hear you guys' feedback. But like I said, it's just a really dirty, filthy mess. And I'm gonna be really excited to be able to look back on this one. And we saw the origins of what this car looked like when we first got it from the auction. And then we'll be able to fast forward and see that it's a nice, clean example. As long as it doesn't get stolen. Because my goodness, man, you guys need to stop with the thievery because this has happened to me before too with the 97 Subaru Impreza. My God, that car got stolen right off the street. And I think what it was the rally wheels and tires I put on it, those rally Corsas. They were bright white on a green station wagon and it was just asking to get stolen. So that was a mistake on my part. With the violation of just people rummaging through your stuff, it's very hard to recover from. It just makes you not enjoy the car as much, even though I'm not saying that the Integra is gonna be that situation. But in the meantime, it is what it is, man. So, hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Check out my Patreon if you wanna support the channel. We also got merch. I'll leave all that stuff linked down below. But anyways, take care.